All right, if everybody would mute themselves, please, except Jennifer. Welcome, everybody. I'm Marla Stegman, and I am so excited to have our kickoff for our Shake the Sugar Challenge that we get to do together. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that after our guest is done speaking. I've known Jennifer now for almost 2 years. We met at a conference or a retreat, and just a sweetheart. And we've stayed in touch, on Facebook a little bit here and there. And she is 57. I know that. I'm just going to read you her bio. Jennifer McCabe is a 57-year-old wife, mom, and nana who struggled with digestive and autoimmune issues for over 30 years. She spent a good part of her life working for the nutritional division of a major pharmaceutical company, but prescriptions did not help her. Gut health did. She hated everything about network marketing and swore she'd never work in this industry, but God had other plans. When she laid down her ego and picked up this business, he used her to help a lot of folks. Come here, you're here to hear this Plexus Emerald, why she isn't stopping anytime soon, even after just having surgery. So welcome, Jennifer. I'm going to let you kind of tell your story and your journey so far.
Thanks, Marla, and welcome everybody. So when Marla and I set this up, we didn't even think, I don't know, you may be smart enough, but it didn't occur to me to think that today was going to be daylight savings time. So how many of you are on the East Coast? Anybody? So it feels like 10:30 here. So I thought, this is a testament to Plexus that we're all up. Like, if my team was showing up this time of the evening on daylight savings time, we would not look this good. Like, you guys look like you even have your makeup and stuff on. That's good. We usually come in baseball caps and, our hair pulled back, ready to roll into bed when we get off these calls. So thank you for your time. How many people? I've got the chat open because I've learned, I've done so many of these that you get what you need if I can kind of talk to you a little bit. So first of all, I want to ask, does anybody speak Southern? Are you having a tough time understanding what I'm saying? If so, tell me to slow down. You can tell me in the chat, I'm reading it. Or you got me, or.
Just don't say, bless your heart means not what you think it means.
That is true. That is very true. I live in Kennebunk, Maine. First of all, my name's Jennifer McCabe. Everything Marla said is true. I live in Kennebunk, Maine. So the northeast corner of the country. It was 32 here this morning. So it's almost the exact opposite of the weather that Marla's living in. I ordered my very first product with Plexus 7 years ago this week. Prior to that, I had spent my career working for the nutritional division of Bristol Myers Squibb, had been gone for years, and I was a full-time mama, a wife, and nana. When I was in the pharmaceutical industry, I had almost every direct sales company out there try to get me to come work for them. And back in the day, they did it by putting you on a plane and flying you somewhere and showing you somebody's fancy car or fancy home and saying you too could have this. And I was just so repulsed by the whole industry that the very idea of network marketing made me want to take a bath. Anybody else felt like that ever? Ever? So when my good friend, Rhonda, who is my good girlfriend, was visiting and said, Jennifer, I just heard that I've been reading about this product called Plexus Slim that helps people with belly issues. And I had a lifelong history of digestive issues, autoimmune issues. When I started Plexus, I was on 6 prescription meds and had heard words for 30 years, everything from celiac to lupus to rosacea to horrible allergies of every kind, and had kind of hit a wall. Those of you that have been around a while know that happens as we age. If we don't address gut health early on, then you hit a wall. At some point you get to a breaking point, and that's where I got. And she said, I'm told this helps people like you. And I was very dismissive. When I tell you, I was beyond rude. So when you think of, so tell me in the chat, how many people on here are actually working this business? Are you let me hear from you, because that'll kind of help me know who I'm talking to. So customer or ambassador, tell me. Yeah. Okay. When I tell you that I was more rude than anybody you will ever reach out to, when my girlfriend said you ought to try this because I read it's helping people like you, I was. So I hope that's encouraging to you, that if you've got a friend out there that you're wanting to help and they are telling you absolutely not, no way, hell no, not on this side of heaven, don't give up on them, because they do need what we have. So my girlfriend suggested that I try this pink drink because it had helped people with belly issues. And I, in a very dismissive tone, told her that I had tried every supplement out there. I had had a compounding pharmacy compounding my probiotics for years. I was spending huge money, $500 a month on supplements. And so I didn't need anything from this little mom and pop network marketing company out of Arizona. And she said, okay, well, I might help you. So then fast forward 6 months later, she was visiting me again, and I was going through a flare. Those of you with autoimmune issues know that we are always sick, but sometimes we have an acute flare, and that's when we can't fake it. So again, if you're talking to somebody that is presenting with an autoimmune disease, and that's everything from type 2 diabetes to thyroid disease to things that we traditionally think of autoimmune issues, and they tell you they're fine, they're just not in a flare. They don't know what well is. I hadn't known what well was since I was in college. I just knew what not crawling around on my stomach felt like. So keep that in mind. So anyway, I was in a flare and she was visiting, and she said, Jennifer, she had some Slim with her. And she said, you just have to try this. I'm told it helps people like you. And I said, I really appreciate it. And this friend is like a sister to me. And I said, I love you so much for caring enough about me to tell me about this. But when you're as sick as me, you don't try anything because you're just trying to manage sick, and anything new that you try causes you to flare. So keep that in mind when you're talking to people that are dealing with chronic, lifelong autoimmune issues like IBS or whatever. The reason they are giving you a hard no or some resistance or pushback is because they're trying to manage sick. They can't even think of well. They're just trying to prevent anything that they try from causing a flare. And so I told her no again. And then I hit a situation where I had a team of doctors looking at me, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. We did all kind of blood work and ultrasounds and colonoscopies again. And I had hit that wall. Nothing was working. I couldn't get past the flare. So I called my friend and said, hey, I've tried everything else. I might as well try this pink drink thing. And when I tell you I was skeptical, I knew that it wasn't going to work, because I was a person that any kind of lotion broke me out. Anything that anybody else could take that worked for them would never work for me. I was like the fine print girl. So I ordered Slim and drank it very inconsistently. Like I drank it for a few days, and then I wouldn't drink it for a few days. And by the way, I had always been a health nut. I always exercised daily for years, because I had done these things just to manage my illness. I had done all the other things you do to manage my illness. And then I started drinking Slim a little bit more consistently and thought, well, maybe it's helping me, but I'm not sure. Have you ever had any customers like that they weren't really sure, that they thought maybe, but they really hadn't been consistent long enough to get a story or to know? Well, that was me. But I got consistent for a few months and decided, yeah, I think I'm feeling better on this. And my girlfriend said, like every good Plexus ambassador, well, you should try the triplex, because that is the secret. And I said, what's triplex? And she said, well, it's this probiotic and BioCleanse. And I said, okay, I'll order it. And oh, by the way, when I ordered as a retail customer. Now, I don't know about on your team, Marla, but we preach against allowing anybody to order as a retail customer, because it's not in their best interest. Our heart's always for our people. It's the biggest, hugest waste of money. So I tell people, 6 years into working the business. If that's what you want to do, you need to wait because you're not ready. And I don't want to waste your money and your time. When you're ready to give me 60 to 90 days to 6 months to help you feel better, then we'll talk. But if you just want to place a one-time order, that's a stupid waste of your money. But I did that. And the reason I did that is any of you that are as old as me, do you remember back in the day when we all signed up for those coffee subscriptions and the coffee just seemed to flow into your house and overtake your pantry? And then when you tried to turn it off, you couldn't get a person on the other end of the line to cancel these shipments from coming. So that was kind of or sign up, like some neighbor kid is selling magazine subscriptions and you sign up for it just to be, help this child that you love. And then you think, well, I really don't need all these magazines, so I'm going to cancel it. But you look in the fine print, you can't even find the number to cancel this subscription. So that was my image, that under no circumstances was I signing up for some sort of monthly order. So I paid retail, y'all, for Slim for over a year. Anyway, she said I should order chocolate. So I did, and it came, and I will never forget. I was getting ready to go to church, and I opened the bio cleanse, and I texted my friend and said, hey, I'm getting ready to go to church, but it was time for me to take this bio cleanse, and can I take it and go to church, or am I going to have to run the bathroom in the middle of church? She said, oh, it's not like that. Okay. So I took it. And by the way, she didn't know anything about how to help me with dosing. She didn't know anything about, with my history, we should maybe have started slow. She didn't know to tell me not to go by what was on the bottle, all the things she didn't know. So I popped 2 BioCleanse and went to church. I came home and I took a ProBio 5 and went to bed. Got up in the middle of the night, sick as a dog. And my initial reaction was, well, it didn't surprise me because I couldn't take anything. So I just threw it in the trash can. And I never spoke to her again about it. I just threw it in the trash can. Kept ordering Slim. So this went on, this kind of roller coaster behavior for about 18 months. And Slim was the only thing that I drank with any consistency. I got consistent for about 4 months up until Thanksgiving of 2015. And the company had a shipping problem around Thanksgiving of 2015, and my order did not come. And I was without Slim the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I ran out, so I didn't have it. So by Thanksgiving Day, with a house full of about 20 people, I was doubled over in pain. And I knew then, I thought, wait a minute, there's something about this product that is helping my body. So I texted my girlfriend and said, do you have any? She lives in Indiana. And I said, do you have any Slim, any extra that I could buy and pay for you to overnight it to me? Because the company, it was Thanksgiving, they were closed, I couldn't get it. And she said, yeah. I said, I'll pay for it if you'll take it right now and overnight it. She overnighted it. It arrived the Monday after Thanksgiving, and I was able to get back on it. And within 2 days, I felt fine. And I thought, there's something, and I didn't know the science. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew something had helped me. At the same time, I had been praying for God to give me a business opportunity to raise money to help children like my son, who is a 2E kid. For those of you that have children with learning disabilities, that's a child that is gifted with a learning disability. He was at the time in college, or just getting ready to start college. But I had met so many moms with children who had his same issues that didn't have the resources to help their kid. And so I had talked to a couple of friends, one who was a congressman at the time, about setting up some sort of foundation to help parents get their kids the training they needed. And there was a lot of red tape with that. And so I was like daily praying, God, give me an opportunity, because I've got, a lifetime of experience helping a child. And I know there's moms out there suffering that want to help the kids and don't know what to do. And at the same time, so when you talk about all these little divine intervention messages, Erin Zimmerman, do any of you know Erin? She's a Plexus Diamond. She spoke at convention a couple of times. She's a doll. So she had worked for my company, Bristol Myers Squibb, but I had left as Erin came in. So I never knew her personally, but my husband, who was general manager of the company, did know her. And so Erin was posting on Facebook about Plexus. And by the way, I wasn't on Facebook because I told people that Facebook's definition of friend and my definition of friend were two different things, and I would never have a Facebook account. So are you thinking of all the people you're talking to now and all the things, and you're thinking, okay, I just want you to have hope. There is hope. Because I was like the worst possible candidate for someone that would go dual with Plexus. You talk about bad technology, Karen. I had no idea how to set up a Facebook account, none, and had no desire. So Jerry kept saying to me, you know, honey, I think that you ought to look at the stuff that Erin Zimmerman's talking about. She's a dietitian, and you would be really good at this business. You're big into nutrition. You know, you love helping people with their health, which I was doing a lot of that just with nutrition. I was doing cooking classes with some friends and that kind of thing anyway. And I said to him, you must be out of your mind. Over my dead body will I ever work for a company like that. Never, ever in the history of ever. Plus, I got too much to do. I'm a mama and the CEO of this family. There is no way. And this has been going on for months. So all these little things. And one morning, we had a house in Florida at the time. I was doing my devotion, and it's almost as though I tell people it was like a burning bush moment. It was, I was praying, you know, God, please give me some way to bless these families. You know, this is something it's laid on my heart and won't go away. And it was almost as though he slapped me up against the head and said, I've already given you the answer. And all you got to do is lay down your ego and admit that you're wrong and pick it up and figure out how to do it. And so I walked out of my bedroom, still in my pajamas, to my husband and said, you know, this pink drink has been helping me. And I think God just kind of told me he wants me to figure out how to do this business. So I'm going to. And he said, you're kidding me. And I said, no. I said, but I need to figure out about this company first, because I don't want my name associated with some weirdo company. So I had my son, who was in his 20s at the time, do some due diligence on Plexus. And what he said, he came back and he said, Mama, it's an amazing company with great products. There's only 2 question marks. One is some people are complaining that they didn't lose the weight they wanted to lose. Now, this was a kid that at the time was a freshman in college. He said, but I've dug a little deeper into that, and it appears that those people don't understand that Plexus is a tool that helps you make good choices. It doesn't make the choices for you. He said, so I figured that's something you can work with. I said, yeah. He said, and the other thing is it's a small company, Mom. It's like mom and pop, and they're growing so fast, they can't keep up with the technology or the marketing stuff. Do y'all remember, anybody been around as long as me? You remember our marketing materials back then? I was so embarrassed. I went and paid. I had my own stuff printed because I wouldn't use what we had. So if you're here new and now, it's such a gift, because, you know, when you come from a corporate Fortune 500 company to a mom and pop company that's just starting, and you look at the brochures and it looks like something out of the 1940s, you're like, And now we've got all these amazing over-the-top tools. It's great. So anyway, I started working the business side. So the first thing I had to do to start working the business was to set up a Facebook account, because I needed to reach my people. And my very first post was this. I know you're all surprised to see me here, because I've told every single person I know that I would never be on Facebook. However, I have found something that's made a difference for my health. And I do not know why. I don't know why, but I'm about to learn, and I invite you to learn along with me. That was my very first Facebook post. And that was December 2015, January 2016. And now I'm a Plexus Jewel and have an amazing team. And I tell them all the time, I am so, so thankful for all the people. And I think it was sort of an army of people that kept after me, not only to improve my health. By the way, I'm off all but one prescription medication, my thyroid medication. My prescription dose has been dropped twice, and my doctor thinks I'll be off that. I was taking gallon bags of allergy medications, both prescription and over the counter. I took Benadryl to sleep at night, and I took Zyrtec to breathe during the day. Most mornings, my husband had to massage my hands for me to be able to pull my underwear up or to brush my teeth. My inflammation was horrible. And when I finally, after I decided I was going to do this business, I talked to somebody in the medical department back then with Plexus. I won leaders retreat or something in just a few months because I've been in nutritional sales my whole life. So that part was kind of easy. But I decided I needed to know everything because my pharmaceutical hat came on. Don't be me, y'all. If you're new, you don't need to know anything. Don't be me. But I studied like 18-hour days because I wanted to know all the nitty gritty of how the products work. And I was talking to one of the medical guys and he explained how the triplex worked. And a light bulb went off that, boy, if I could just figure out how to get these products in my body, they are going to transform me. Now, anybody know who Amy Myers is? Amy Myers is a functional medicine doctor. Write this down. She wrote a book called The Autoimmune Solution. I recommend that book for every single one of my clients that has autoimmune disease. And it's a great book for you guys to have kind of in your resource library. Now, let me tell you, before you recommend that to a client, you need to know Amy Myers has a whole line of supplements. I was on her supplements for almost 2 years to the tune of $400 to $500 a month. But in order to get what you get in the triplex in Amy Myers supplements, you take handfuls. You take a digestive enzyme separate from a probiotic, separate from a magnesium. You take handfuls of products. And I took them all, but I didn't get the same result that I got with the triplex. So I thought, I've got to figure out how to get this in because I'm going to trade all that out and see if I can get the plexus stuff on because now I'm going to work this business. So I need to be on our products, right? And I did. And the secret, and you may already know this, the secret to me being able to get triplex on at full dosing was original X Factor. That's what did it for me. And it's because when I tell you detox, I had the most horrible detox, explosive diarrhea for 6 months. That I tell people, and if you're from the South, you'll know what this means. I smelled like a bait bucket, like as the yeast was dying off, like I had to change my clothes 2 and 3 times a day. So horrible, horrible detox. And so I would quit and stop and quit and stop and play around with dosing. And original X Factor was a secret for me. So I love kind of what you guys are doing with this Shake the Sugar because you're flipping the script. So what happened for me is somebody was able to talk to me and flip my script and say, well, it doesn't have to be pharmaceutical grade probiotics. You've tried all that. For a long time, I thought they had to be really expensive and refrigerated to help you. And those of you that have been on probiotics for any length of time, and if you're talking to friends, they will tell you this. Those probiotics just don't work. They'll work for a little while and then they'll stop working. Like I'll feel better. I'll be on them for a few months and I'll feel better. And then all of a sudden I don't feel better. And we all know the reason for that is because they don't have a digestive enzyme in them that works. So the bad bacteria is going dormant. And then when it feels safe to come back out or they quit taking it, it flares back up. So we want to flip the script. You want to flip the script on sugar. This time of year, what a great time to talk about shaking the sugar, because what most people are thinking, we know, is they're thinking, I'm going to just power through the holidays feeling like garbage with no energy, and I'm going to have even less sleep than I normally have, and I'm going to ingest more sugar than I normally do, and I'm just going to be a hot mess on New Year's, and then I'll fix it then. We know most people gain an average of 6 to 10 pounds between now and New Year's Day. So I love this whole shake the sugar thing now because we're inviting people to flip their script. We're inviting people to say and ask themselves a question. What if this year, I ask all my friends this, I've been sending messages for weeks on this. How long have you been saying, I'll wait until New Year's? How many years? How many decades have you been saying, I'll wait until New Year's? So 10 months ago or 11 months ago now, you asked that same question or made that same decision. And where are you? So what about if this year we flip the script? What about if this year we start on this side of the holidays? And I'm not about a scarcity mindset. If some of you are big into nutrition, you may disagree with me on this, but I think that I don't call any foods bad. And I don't think we ought to leave off necessarily anything. Yes, dairy is inflammatory, and yes, gluten's inflammatory and all of that. And some of us, especially those that have been sick forever, we avoid that stuff. But the holidays are about celebrating. Thanksgiving is about counting our blessings, and Christmas is about celebrating the greatest gift we ever got. So if you can't celebrate and have treats on those days, I mean, it's kind of, what's the point? So what I think this message of Shake the Sugar is, we want abundance. We want you to be able to have the energy to be the best elf on earth. We want you to have the tools to help you sleep so that you can show up for your family and do all the extra things the holidays require. We want you to be able to enjoy the treats without it all going to your backside, and so that you greet the new year ahead of the game. So I love that y'all are doing that. So I would encourage you to invite people to lean in and listen to this. So that's all I got. Marla, you got questions?
So when you started with the deciding to do the business, you still were just on the Slim alone?
When I first started, yes, I was on Slim alone.
So how did you start? Did you start progressively on the products, on the triplex and the X Factor original together?
Yes. When I decided to start the business, I ordered triplex, and I can't even remember back then. I must have gotten a welcome pack, but I didn't take all the products right away because I knew my body wouldn't absorb them. But the key to them, so I probably just got triplex and then added original X Factor later when I figured out I needed that to be able to get them on board. I do recommend to all my clients now, if they have any history, anybody that comes saying I've tried everything, or I'm sick, or I have autoimmune issues, the deal is, will you please order original X Factor with your welcome pack?
Would you recommend ever switching to X Factor Plus?
Yes, absolutely. And when I making a recommendation or talking to them about their products, and this is something I've changed over the last year, by the way. I take Slim Microbiome now. My husband takes Slim Hunger Control. And I think our mindset is generally, well, people that want digestive issues or belly issue problems, we want them on microbiome. I start people like me, sick people, on Slim Hunger Control, because it's easier on their system. And I tell them, here's what we're going to do. We're going to order triplex or Gut Health Advanced Welcome Pack with Hunger Control. And I want you to add an extra product, Original X Factor. And our goal is going to be, here's where we're going. I hope we're going to be able to get you on X Factor Plus one day. And we're probably going to transition you to microbiome. But we're going to start here because this can be too much of the good stuff. We're trying to restore balance in your insides. And for now, we need to start slow. And your best chance of getting all these products on board that are going to begin the restoration work are to start here. But there's where we're going.
I recommend ease a lot of times too with autoimmune issues. Do you recommend that as well?
Yes, ease will help a lot. Sometimes if I know people aren't going to have a financial issue, I will recommend it. I personally take 3 E's every morning and 3 every night. Those of you that were on here early heard that I had surgery. So I've just had this splint just a few days. I had a full to my elbow cast and splint for 7 weeks. And I took, and I am in a private Facebook group with people who had my exact same surgery on the exact same day as me. And most of them were on Oxycontin for a week to 2 weeks. I took it only at night for 2 nights. And other than that, the only thing I've used for pain management has been Ease and CBD oil. So I'm a huge fan.
Awesome. Good to know. Yeah, the X Factor Original, I guess I hadn't heard that before with autoimmune to do that, but that makes sense. It's less, and I always say less is more at the beginning. We always start one product at a time and or recommend that.
So X Factor Plus is, the best multivitamin on the market.
Right.
And so my 26-year-old, that's the vitamin I want him on. Plus it has zinc, which is really good for, these times we're living in. But X Factor Plus also has polyphenols in it. And I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but I think that's one of the reasons it's disruptive to people with gut issues. I will tell you this, when we launched that product, I had already been on Plexus for a number of years and was healthy as a horse. And so I forgot that even though I'm healthy, I still have my body. And we were leaving Florida to drive to Maine for the summer. We had just launched this product and I had gotten it and I popped my X Factor Plus in and we were on a 24-hour road trip. And I had, every time we stopped at the rest, we were having to stop at the rest stop every 2 hours because my stomach was just a mess. So I had to play around with it because I want enough of it in me to get a little zinc without having to get extra. So the only way for my body, I was able, and I tried everything. And I'm, unlike I tell people, unlike my clients, I was committed. Like I really wanted to get it in. I have to take one at bedtime. I still can't take two during the daytime or in the morning.
Yeah, polyphenols really feed the good gut bacteria so that it really brings on the detox. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? That was wonderful. I just love your laid back, tell it exactly how it went. And I love all the divine intervention. I didn't realize that you had put up a closed wall that long.
We're waiting to see if we have any more questions. I want to mention one other thing. So my very first convention was Vegas of 2006. Was it 16? Yes, Vegas 2016. And I was there by myself, no members of my team. But a woman that worked with me at Bristol, who was doing Plexus, was there. And so she and I decided we would go to convention together. And she had run training programs for many Fortune 500 pharmaceutical companies. And so we go to this convention thinking we're all that, and these people don't know what they're doing, but they need us because we're going to be able to help them. And we've since lacked, we have learned to be humble, thank God, as we've gotten older. But we're in Vegas, and any of you that have ever been to convention in Vegas, we're up in the top, everybody's down the floor, and we're sitting up there kind of with our notepads thinking we're going to like observe this and take notes on how we can help this little company. And it was the opening session. Anybody at Dream On when Steven Tyler came out and opened the session?
That was my first one.
Me too. And so we looked at Kari and I looked at each other, and I said, maybe they don't need us. She said, I think not. I think not. I don't think they need us. But so prior to that, so I had been doing the business maybe 6 months and had told my diamond upline, Erin, don't ever mention me, because she was, how people do shout outs on Facebook, so-and-so went silver, so-and-so earned leaders retreat, or she earned an extra $200. And I was mortified. So I said, never put anything about me doing this business on social media. Number one, remember, I was Facebook skittish anyway. Like I didn't want people to know what I was eating for breakfast or lunch. I thought that was stupid. And then where she's trying to talk to people about money, which, oh my stars, the things I had in my mind about money. And she was going to say, I want an extra $200. And I wrote Karen, please don't ever say I got a promotion or earned something. My people don't want to hear that. And that's, the best thing about this business is being proven, being shown that you don't know what you don't know. You just don't know. There's been so many things over these last 6 years that I have learned that I thought I was positive about, and I was dead wrong. And this was one of them. So my first convention, I'm standing in the bathroom, those long bathroom lines at convention, and among Plexus people, I'm one of the older people. So I'm standing there with these mothers that are all with their babies, and they've been nursing, and they're talking, and they are so excited because they had earned an extra $200 and they could pay for their kid to go. One was paying for their kid to go to soccer camp, and one was paying for their kid to go to some other thing they needed to go to. And I stood behind them in the bathroom line and started crying. Left and finished the meeting, had another bathroom experience where another young mom was talking about earning $100-something and what it had transformed her life. Now, keep in mind, I am at this time 50 years old. So I've already done my career, and, we're financially, we don't need money. So $100 isn't changing my life in any way. And I hear this, and my husband was with me. He wasn't going to convention with me that year, but he was staying at the Bellagio. And I went back to the hotel that night and walked in to meet him. And I just started crying. And he said, oh my gosh, was it that bad? And I said, no, it was that good. And he said, what? I said, well, let's go get a glass of wine. Let me sit down and tell you. So we did. And I said, I stood in the bathroom today on 2 different occasions behind these young moms who their life had been transformed by $150 to $200. And I can show somebody how to do that in my sleep. And I have been so wrong and so arrogant. And I am so thankful that I was in that line behind those people so that I could understand that God has put me here to use me to help these moms, because I can help them. Now, I can help them earn $200 in no time. And it can change their life and it can help their kids. And so that day I sent a message to Erin and said, I've been wrong. You know, I think there's a way we do this correctly, but I was wrong. I want to find every mama out there that needs $200 because I know I can help her with that. And so that's totally transformed my view of doing this business. Prior to that, it had just been, and by the way, I was doing gut health before Plexus was doing gut health. I hated that our product was called Slim. All of my training was gut health back way before, now we're the gut health company. Back then we were what the message in marketing was, we're the lose weight company. And people like me would have never tried Plexus to lose weight. We just wanted to feel better. Losing weight's a cherry on top when you feel like garbage. So I was already doing gut health, and now I thought, and I'd walk through a brick wall to find somebody like me that was sick and tell them Plexus offers hope. And now all of a sudden I had this awakening that I could do the same thing for people that needed $200. So when my mind and my heart got behind, I could be used to bless people both with their health and with their ability to manage a family budget, it was like a mission for me. I thought, I've got the time and I'm going to go do this. So, and I absolutely love it. When your team joins like this, I don't care if you're brand new or you've been around a while, if you take a minute and you go back and look at the list of people who are feeling better, or they're able to get their kids something special for Christmas, or they got their kids extra sneakers to go to school this year, or they didn't have to question whether they needed to go on a family vacation because Plexus took care of their mortgage. That's the stuff that'll get you on a call at 10:30 at night. I mean, that's the stuff that makes it worth it. Any other questions? Yes, the name Slim was a turnoff. I wish it was called Restore, because that's what it does.
So many people think it's just weight loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they're just not open to hearing even what you have to say. So, yeah.
And I think that's why we have to keep talking. Oh, we can't stop, or we can't say, oh, I talked to them one time. And I will tell you this, after this many years, I have people that started at the very beginning. And because face it, I didn't really know what I was doing either. So I'm better, and I'm a little better at what I'm doing too. But they weren't consistent, or maybe we started them on the wrong products. And a couple even said hard no, never again. To a person, there's not a single one that hasn't now come back, because I'm still here doing the same thing. So I just encourage you, if you've had that, if you're new and you've had that happen, especially the ones that kill you, or somebody that you know needs what we have, that's really struggling, and then they just give up. Maybe their detox is, we couldn't manage it, or they didn't have the right products, or the husband told them they didn't want to spend $150 a month or whatever, yet they're spending $150 a month at McDonald's. They'll come back. Just pray over them, and to a person, they've all come back.
I've seen that too quite a bit. This is my 6th year. So I've had some that have tried 3 other things, and then now back, it's like, I'm just going to stick with Plexus because I feel the best. And then they're ready to dig in and be, more coachable too, and learn. Right. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even know what a probiotic was when I started. So I didn't even know what I was taking. I just listened to my sponsor, and I didn't know anything about gut health. I thought gut health meant like when you have the stomach flu. So yeah. And I'm a Sapphire. So you guys, anyone can do this. Does anyone else have any questions for Jennifer? You're holding on pretty good. Was it a 2 active day for you today since you're up so late?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I have been, because of this and the fact that I've been doing things kind of at half speed. I've been staying up really late I used to be like Cinderella. At 10 o'clock I'm in bed, and now I'm up to like 1, just because it takes me so long to get anything done. And for my mental health, I have to stay up a little bit later so I can feel like I accomplished something. So no, this is fine. I'm here. I will happily answer anything y'all want to ask me about the products or the business.
Just unmute yourselves and go ahead and ask. No questions. Well, we had attentive learners tonight. I guess everything is good. So you are welcome to stay on if you want, Jennifer, or you can hop off. And
I've got one question before you let me go. Can y'all tell me what's the, as you're looking at the end of the year, so we've got another, 7 weeks left? As you're thinking about the end of the year, what's the one thing that scares you about going out and finishing this year strong? What is blocking, like, what do you think when you sit down to work? What is blocking you from going, whatever your next rank is? I'm going to nail that before the end of the year. What gets in your way? That I won't hit my goal. Okay, Kelly. Have we got time to do this, Marla?
sure.
Kelly, will you unmute yourself? Is that fear of failure? Okay. Tell me about that.
Well, I've had a goal of getting to Emerald for over, I would say, about good 8 months. And I'll set a goal, a timeline,
Mhm.
and I have not met that timeline. So I just, I don't know.
But then you tell yourself, it's just so discouraging. Why should I set that goal when I've done it now for 2 years and I haven't hit it?
That's probably part of the back talk I get in my brain.
Anybody else thought like that? Like, I've been doing this, why should I do that? Or the same, I'm so glad you were brave enough to, because I think this is useful for, even with the products, we get, potential friends that tell us, I've tried everything. I talked to a friend this week, it just broke my heart. She's been in the hospital for 4 days, the month of December, for the last 4 years, because her A1Cs are out of control. When she drinks Slim, her A1Cs are controlled, and she can't remember to drink it every day. And, that just blows my mind. And when I talked to her the other day, her conversation was very similar to yours. She said, I'm just so afraid of failing because I try and I just don't trust myself. Anybody else feel that way? You just don't trust yourself? Yeah. I think that's very common. I think you need to give yourself some grace for that. And I've got a couple of things I'll throw out. We don't have time to do full training on this tonight, but the greatest gift of this business, beyond the ability to feel well enough to go serve your family and your community, is helping somebody else do that. And the only way you can help somebody else do that is by learning how to do it yourself. And everybody's afraid of failing. Everybody. Anybody know who Brooke Hemingway is? Yeah, only the most successful person in places. So Brooke's a friend of mine, and I am doing high performance coaching with her right now. And on a live the other day, we had like 99 people on her training call, and they were talking about this very topic, fear of failure. And by the way, I think so often we're afraid to talk about it because you think you're the only one. And it's like anything, when it's brought out into the light, you can kind of go, phew, well, I wasn't the only one, so-and-so feels that way. And Brooke Hemingway made this comment, and you could hear like a ripple of laughter from everybody on the call. And she said, 50% of the time, I don't feel like doing it. 50% of the time, I feel like I might fail. Now that's Brooke Hemingway, who's done it, but she's gone diamond 3 times, y'all. And is about this close to going the 4th time on Thomas's leg. So I think that's something we all need to hear. And I think even our potentials that are using our products think the same thing, that they're afraid, they're just afraid of failing. So I think the question we all ought to ask ourselves, and I've been doing this for me too, is what is it that I'm willing to do differently so that I don't have to hear that? And I'll give you a couple of examples. And I've done this work for 2 years. Since Marla and I met, I've been working on this. So it's kind of been a work in progress. I recommend a couple of things. The book Soundtracks by John Acuff is awesome for this. I led a book club on it this summer. And it kind of teaches you what I'm talking about. But a couple of things that have been in my head for years. And by the way, if you got something like that playing in your head, it's probably been in there for decades. One was that I don't have enough time. Does anybody ever tell yourself that? If I just had more time, I could nail this business. That was one of the things. And so I spent the summer flipping my script on that. I would find myself, like I would come downstairs, I had planned all this stuff for my work, and I would come downstairs and my husband would say, why don't we invite the neighbors over for dinner? And I would turn in like the evil step witch and go, ah! But what was playing in my head was, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time because I had planned this and you mentioned this. And so I started flipping that script and reminding myself that yes, I have plenty of time. I get to choose what I do with it and where I place it. And just learning how to take that thought captive and say, that's not truth. Because see, we tell ourselves that just because we think it must be true. Just because you think you might fail, it must be true. That's not true. You've got evidence everywhere that people are successful at this business. That anybody can be successful. An introvert like Brooke Hemingway can be successful. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it for you. So you have to take that thought and say, okay, what am I going to replace it with? I'll tell you something that has happened in the last 8 weeks. So if you joined late, you may not know that I have been without working hands for most of the last 8 weeks. I had these fingers that would work and not really well. And so for a person that's a doer, it wreaked havoc on my mental health. Havoc. And so I decided that I needed to take control of that because I just didn't want to be like a slobbering mess crying all the time that I couldn't do anything. I needed to focus on what I could do. Because what I was telling myself was that I was old and broken and unable to accomplish anything. And so I needed to give up on my goals for the rest of the year. And that made me feel even worse because, like some of you, I have a pretty large team that depends on me to show up. And so if I'm not showing up, if my headspace isn't right, if I'm not delivering, then I feel like I'm letting them down, which is the worst kind of thing. So one of the words I decided to replace it with was that I am strong. So anytime I found myself saying I am weak or I am fragile or I can't, I replaced it with I am strong. So I just want to leave y'all with to think about what you're saying to yourself about this last 2 months, about this last end of the year. And just like you're encouraging your potentials to flip their script on sugar and getting started on their health, do the same thing for your business. Say, what if instead of saying I'll get serious in January, what if I said, I'm going to get serious about figuring this business out on this side of the holidays. I'm not going to tell myself I'm too busy during the holidays to do this work. I'm going to figure out how to do that. If that means I work 30 minutes at lunch while I'm at work, then that's what I do. But I know that this is a gift. It's going to be a gift for my family, and it's a gift for the people that haven't even joined me yet. And I'm going to be able to help them as soon as I learn how to do it. So that's the second it.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Brooke went in our business builders group 2 days ago and did a little mindset training. And I had forgotten, I'd heard this before, where 80% of our thoughts are negative,
Mm-hmm.
and 95% of those thoughts are repeated continuously because it's your comfort zone. It's where you're at. And
Where
just
you go back to. So in fact, that John Acuff book, I bought it. I've got teenage grandchildren and I bought it for all of them for one of their Christmas present because I think it is so valuable to teach children at that age that just because they think it or feel it, it's not a fact, and to teach them the skills of replacing it. So thank y'all for having me tonight. This was fun.
Thank you. Can you guys see me? I lost the
screen. I'm viewing Lois's screen, it says.
I
but
know.
yes, I can see you.
Lois, can you, did you switch your screen?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to put in a message and somehow I got a whiteboard and now I don't know how to get rid of it.
Okay, you're running the show here, girl. You can take over.
Sorry, I did have a question. I'll just put that
Yes.
out.
Yes, what's your question?
Well, I did meet a lady this summer that she has rheumatoid arthritis, and she has it so bad she has to go every month to get intravenous injections and whatever.
Mhm.
And I did try to mention Plexus to her, but she said that she's allergic to stevia. What do you do with that? Like,
So what I do, so first of all, everybody on RA needs to be on triplex hunger control and original X factor. I was diagnosed with RA in my 20s.
okay.
Second of all, they're going to push back on you. And then I just had the same message from a friend of mine yesterday that she's allergic to stevia. Very often they have been told they're allergic to stevia by a traditional medicine doctor who can't figure out what else is wrong with them and can't treat them. And so they link it to something that has stevia in it. It's also usually a manufactured stevia product that they're having issues with. So what I said to her is this: have you had an actual allergic reaction to stevia, or is this something you've noticed when you eat things that have stevia in it, you don't like how you feel? And that's usually what it is. And then I will say, well, would you be willing to do this? Would you be willing to try Slim and Original X Factor for a few days and tell me what you think if you notice? Because, by the way, I had allergic reactions to stevia too, and now I've been on Slim for almost 7 years. So absolutely, I think the choice is, am I going to choose wellness? And if you've got rheumatoid arthritis, get Amy, I recommend Amy Meyer's book to them. If you've got one autoimmune illness, there's a 70% chance if you don't get gut health straight, you're going to have 2 autoimmune illnesses. And if you don't get that straight, there's a 70% chance you're going to end up in situations with severe ones, like the ones that end up putting you in a wheelchair, which is where I was headed. So it is very much worth, when we hear pain points like rheumatoid arthritis or IBS or diabetes, or, I mean, I don't know how we cannot tell people. I mean, I listen to people in the bathroom line. My team teases me because when I'm in the bathroom line and somebody's talking about they can't poop, or they've got stomach issues, or they've got this, you know, I can't sit there and listen to them without telling them I've got something that might help them. So the question is just, how can I connect you? Can I connect you to something that might be a solution?
And I've had people tell me they're allergic to stevia, get severe headaches, and then they eventually try this. I had 2 people like this, try the Slim, and our stevia did not bother them.
No. It's usually a manufactured form of stevia that has some chemical added to it that they're reacting to. I've had a couple of people react to Slim and they thought it was a stevia, but it's just people that had, you know, older ladies who had some issues, and we took them to half a pack of Slim and they were fine. They were having headaches. They thought it was a stevia, but it was just, they had bad bacteria issues.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What was the name of that book? You said Amy Meyers was the author?
The Autoimmune Solution by Dr. Amy Meyers.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, Lois, I figured out how to shut off somebody else's screen just now. Your whiteboard. I learned that because you accidentally hit it. Thank you. Oh, okay. So we are going to cover our sugar detox now with.
Oh, thank y'all. I'm going to sign out.
Thank you.
So I'm going to go watch. I'm going to go watch Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. That's what everyone wants to do tonight.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jennifer.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye. All right. Shake the Sugar starts tomorrow. And so what we want to do is just answer your questions. I hope you've seen the posts. I did grab a couple things that are good alternatives. And as we go through these 2 weeks, you're going to be learning a lot of substitutes. We're going to be sharing things in our lives. There's 7 of us that are going to be going live. And don't think that it's like a pass and fail, black and white challenge. I mean, it's all about growth. and learning. I mean, our goal is to cut sugar, right? Like Kelly talked about her goal, but if we accidentally eat something that has sugar in it, do we quit? No, we just get back up and go, oh my gosh, well, I'm not going to do that again. So it just was something I was using tonight. I made up my own dressing and I use this in it. It's the Primal Kitchen Chipotle Lime, and there's 0 sugar in it. So that's the Primal Kitchen. Mayonnaise is hard to find without sugar in it. And then the almond milk, unsweetened. And then the yogurt. I used to eat Yoplait Fluff years ago. That was my teaching healthy meal. 24 grams of sugar. I had no clue years ago. So this is the plain. I like this to use this for yogurt, or not yogurt, for a sour cream. I use it for, I put frozen berries on it and then let it sit in the fridge overnight. And then it's so good. You don't even need any stevia. I don't. Now throw some nuts in or oatmeal, but there's Fahi is another good brand. So I grabbed those quick out of the fridge just to show you. But I think we'll just go around and kind of introduce each person that's helping with the event also. And so they'll just introduce themselves and put your questions in the chat. If you guys don't know where the chat is, it's at the bottom of your screen where it says chat. Just click on it and type and it'll come right up here for us, okay? So Kelly, do you want to go next?
Sure. My name is Kelly Carlstead. I live in Devils Lake, North Dakota, and I'm really excited for this challenge. It's something that we have not done before. And, when I think of sugar, I think of candy and pop, desserts. And I think of when you need to eliminate sugar, that means you probably want to lose weight. And that's kind of where my brain has always been. Not the fact that when we eliminate sugar, our body will feel better as a whole, and the weight will just be an added bonus. So I never considered sugar as really being bad for me, but I knew that if I wanted to lose weight, I had to, reduce my sugar intake. So this is a really neat shift of mind that I started when I started taking Plexus. And so I'm really excited to spread the word and get this out to everybody that we can get it out to. And the neat thing about this challenge I like is that anyone can do this with us. Anyone can be invited into our healthy living group. So if you have friends and family that just want more education on a healthier lifestyle, they do not have to purchase Plexus products. They can just join us in our Facebook group and learn. And then the decision will be up to them what they do down the road. So thank you for Marla for putting this together for us. And I'm just really excited to get going.
Thank you, Kelly. Let's go with the other Kelly now, Kelly Hulst.
I'm the other Kelly Hulst from Grand Forks, North Dakota. And yeah, I also am ready to divorce sugar for the second time. It seems to creep back in my life. My mindset was always it was a calorie game, right? So if I had a candy bar that was only 120 calories rather than 240, then I'd made a good decision. And just the more I've learned about how detrimental and how I see it being so detrimental, even for patients, it's a whole mind shift and understanding how foods affect our health overall, all of it. And the hidden sugar part of it all, it's insanity. When you start even seeing and recognizing all the words that are used for sugar in products. And it's been good now. My husband has gotten on the bandwagon with this too. And we're just trying to be more cognizant of what we're putting in our bodies, and it does make a difference. So yeah, I'm ready to get back in this and re-educate myself. Yeah, it's all good.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes.
Yes, I was just looking at some pretzels at the ingredients and I was so surprised. And some pretzels that were plain were 2 grams of sugar too. So yeah, I'm still learning too. I thought it was, well, that'd be okay to have. I'm like, oh no, not during the sugar detox. So it's going to be reading the label big time. And yeah, it's going to be great. Andrea, you want to go next?
Hi, I'm Andrea, and yeah, I'm super excited to get rid of the sugar again. I'm actually coming off of being pretty darn sick, and when I was sick, I was not eating right. I knew that I was going to get sick because I was around my husband who had been sick, and I knew that I needed to get the sugar out of my life to prevent myself from getting sick while I got sick. And but I didn't have sugar like for 3 weeks. I was really strict on the sugar, and I got through the sickness, and now I started eating sugar again. But I'm ready for a new divorce, like Kelly said, again tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. I love the way I feel now that I've been aware of it, since I've been just learning more, doing plexus. Now that I'm aware of what sugar does to me, I definitely can tell when I need to get rid of it again. So
Thank you. And Erica.
Hi. Yeah, I'm excited for the sugar, to just get rid of the sugar for the next couple weeks, or just focus on it and kind of build each other up and learn from everyone else. And the swaps to make, I've really learned a lot dabbling in all the keto stuff and cutting things out, even teaching my kids to just, they came home the other day from school and they're like, do you know how much sugar's in milk? And so just teaching them those habits, check labels, there's sugar in everything. And so just learning how to make healthy swaps, eating food that are ingredients, not food that has ingredients, and just focusing on just limiting all the things because of all the detrimental effects it causes over time. So
Thank you,
Yeah.
Erica. Thank you for being part of this too. Leah, do you want to be next?
Yeah, my name is Leah Zimmerman. I'm from Crookston, and also excited about this little challenge that we have, and excited to just pay attention maybe more of what's in my house and what's going in my mouth. And rechecking labels, sometimes you do that and then things kind of sneak back in, and excited to hear what everybody else is doing and finding and all of that too. So it's going to be fun.
Thank you. And Laura must have hopped off, Kelly. Laura McLaurin has 4 kids. So, and she's a counselor teaching. So she probably had to hop off for those reasons, but
She was gone all weekend.
oh, right.
Her
Minneapolis.
kids need her.
Yep. So does anyone have any questions? Hopefully you saw the post. We have the guide, the PDF I shared with the food guide. This is optional, but it's a nice tool if you want to use it. And we are going to we want you to use it the second week, but you can use it the first. We're not going to be dictators on this, but like I said, we're going to wean off. The first post goes out at 8 in the morning. We're going to have every day. It's 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. There's only 2 posts. And if you'd read the first post and just let us know if you read it. And then at night is when we check in and say how our day went. Like, did we do it? Did we shake the sugar? And during these 2 weeks, we also want to celebrate those that are shaking the sugar. And so we might be reaching out to you and maybe asking you to, go live or something with us or something, or speak on the next Zoom. We'll meet again next week at 8:30. It won't go this long. I didn't think it was going to be this long. So I know it's late, so I don't want to keep you any longer. Is there any questions? We're going to be learning a lot. We're going to be celebrating wins. One way to check your gut health and if you're addicted to sugar, if you look at your tongue and it's a white tongue, I don't know if you guys have heard that before, that's a sign that you have, candida overgrowth, and candida grows through, being fed by sugar and other things too. So you probably at the end of these 2 weeks, it'll be interesting to see what your tongue looks like then. You know, it shouldn't be have that film on it. And that white film can also change your taste buds. So then, like, I bought peanut M&Ms on the airplane down here. I used to eat them 24/7 before Plexus, and I haven't really had them for a long time. It didn't taste good. It tasted almost like bad breath smells. Does that make any sense? And to think that I would ever think that, that's just weird. But when we transform, when our gut health is good, it's amazing how we just don't want those foods anymore either. So anyway, so I'm excited for everybody. No questions, looks like. And let's shake that sugar, and we'll meet you back here too if you want to come join, and we'll do just all question and answers about and celebrate wins next Sunday at 8:30. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody.